Welcome to The Growth Equation. This isn't your typical business podcast. We're keeping it real about the challenges of scaling up. Period. I'm Tristan Wright and I've been there. I've built and scaled my own business. I've sold it. I've learned a ton along the way. Now I'm bringing you the no BS stories of founders who are in the trenches right now, navigating that messy middle. We're talking advertising, marketing, design, creative, branding, the whole 9 yards. Doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur or running a team of 100. Everyone's got a secret sauce, that thing that makes them different, better. We're going to uncover it. So grab a coffee and let's get real. Today we're talking to Ben from Titan. Ben, welcome, mate.
Hey, Tristan. Good to be here and super excited to be sharing anything that we can with the people listening today.
So Ben, we've been in contact on and off over the years, but I want to get you to share a bit about your story and your journey from working to business owner to where you are today, just to introduce yourselves to all of the audience.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ben, obviously, and I run a couple of businesses. One in particular, we work in Titan for YouTube advertising and paid marketing, basically anyone who wants to grow and scale. We usually work with service-based businesses looking for lead gen, anyone who's wanting to basically grow and scale with YouTube advertising. Maybe they've spent money on Facebook and they know they need another platform. Most people are going to have some sort of sales team or some sales rep is usually who we'd work with. If you haven't got like a dedicated sales person yet, we're probably not the right agency there. In terms of like the journey to get there, look, probably going back 10 years ago or more, I must be wrong on that, about 15 years ago, we actually got into the online marketing space by buying online businesses. And in the first year, I think we bought like 30 something online businesses. And what I had to figure out.
Let's take a step back. You purchased 30 online businesses.
Yeah, I think it was 34. I think it was. We did some training with a couple of Matt and Liz Rard back in the day, and they were saying, because I was investing in property. I think we were talking a little bit about that before, but it was like, hey, you can invest in online businesses. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do that. And so we just sort of went in both feet. And what I quickly realized is the thing with owning online businesses is you can build it, but people won't come, right? You need to figure out the traffic side of the business, right? And that was really the unsung thing to know about online business. So we did that. We learned a lot of lessons. Back in the day, it was all very much SEO, and we got slapped by all the cute animals like panda and penguin and all of those. And I quickly realized that, hey, while SEO is cool, paid ads is better. And we got into affiliate marketing and selling info products and all of that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you didn't have traffic, nothing happened. And I think that's the same whether you're an online business or a physical business or a service-based business. If you don't have people walking in the door or checking out your landing pages, your websites, nothing's going to happen. No sales are coming, right? So long story short, that was a very big business lesson to learn. We actually sold a bunch of those businesses a little bit later, a few years on, and we did pretty well out of that. And we were kind of like, well, what do we do now? And my son at the time was wanting to start a business. So we started another business, which we still have today, called Youth in Business. We taught kids how to start businesses. Did that for a number of years prior to COVID. We were doing rooms to about 700-800 people nationally as well, which was pretty cool. We had kids do some cool stuff like, buy houses before they're 18, become millionaires, and all sorts of cool stuff. And one kid wrote a book like How I Made More Money Than My Principal. I got to write the foreword for it. So that was really cool. That was a good journey. And then COVID came along and we couldn't really do any live events and things like that. At the time, though, where the Titan marketer comes in, is we had to fill all these rooms and run all these events and everything. And I just had my own marketing team internally. And then I actually got asked to speak on a few stages about how I was doing it. People were asking how we did it. And then we were very focused on Google ads and, like Facebook ads are great, but at the end of the day, they'll turn your ad account off. And we kind of grew from there. We did a consulting agency over COVID for YouTube advertising for just 7-figure business owners, and then we moved into just pure agency because anyone who we did the work for got great results. We just moved into the agency side over the COVID, or just prior to COVID, and we've been going well ever since. I speak internationally on YouTube and paid advertising. Yeah, and I guess that's where we're at today.
So it's definitely a bit of a journey. I want to go back. So I'm still stuck on the 34 businesses. So Because not many people buy one or two businesses, let alone 34.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So were you investing in property and you had cash prior, or was it vendor finance? How did you manage
All of
34?
that. Well, 34 businesses back in the day. I mean, if we go back, I'd have to go back to the year, but I think it's going to be like 2012 or 14 or something. Like, what are we now? 2025. No, it must have been before that. Must have been like 2009. I don't get the exact date, but it was a good 14, 15, 12, 15, somewhere in there, over a decade ago, whenever that is. And basically, when we did it, when I say online businesses, I mean we were buying them for like $5,000 or like $10,000, or like the price points weren't huge, but the cash flow was insane. So like back in the, I'm going back now, but you could buy a business for $10,000 that would do well over $1,000 a month cash flow.
Wow.
Which is really cool. So we were buying, like different price points. Some for a couple of thousand, and then we quickly learnt that if you're going to spend time and effort on it, you really should get something that at least does $1,000, $2,000 a month cash flow. And then we sort of went in heavy on those. But yeah, we had a pretty decent portfolio by the end of it. I think some of them that we were buying for, tens of thousands of dollars were kind of the better spot to play. And yeah, we ended up, like I said, with like 30 of these things, 34 of them. Some of them did really well. Some of them didn't go so great. But I would say a good 40% of them did really well. And what you could do is, I mean, back in the day, you could get these sites that were already had AdSense or some sort of affiliate marketing on them or whatever. Back in the days when blogs were all the rage, and you could buy these things and you could increase them with some articles and some SEO and that sort of thing. And you could go from them doing maybe $1,000 a month to like $5,000 or $10,000 a month pretty quick, and then you could sell them. It was a whole thing, but it doesn't really exist today. I mean, it does. I shouldn't say it doesn't exist. You can still buy online businesses. You can check out websites like Flipper and that sort of thing. We got into our own like service-based business, I think, and like in coaching and consulting, we went that route. And own our own info products, own the brand, own all that stuff. And, went from there. So that was kind of the journey. But we quickly learned that the traffic is the key. So when Panda and Hummingbird and everything came along and slapped us, we went from businesses that were making like $5,000, $10,000 a month to like $500 a month, all because Google had control of the business, right? And then we had to transition and move into things like affiliate marketing and the next stage of the online internet process. But what was really cool was the business lessons learnt there was if you don't control the traffic source and you're purely reliant on these platforms, they can turn your business off overnight. And while we fixed a bunch of them up and sold them and still did really well, the big business lesson for me there was like, hey, I don't want to have a business where, someone can change an algorithm somewhere and all my money stops tomorrow. So that was...
So multiple iterations and evolutions from there. Like you use those lessons to make your second set of businesses and your third and then your fourth.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I think it's just as you grow as an entrepreneur, like what are the lessons that you want to get along the way? Or some lessons are hard learned, but stay with you forever. Right?
Has it been smooth sailing along that journey?
Nah, never. I think anyone who says, like all of that sounded great in a couple of sentences, right? But yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of dramas that go with that. Buying out business partners, or selling off parts of a business, or hiring, getting your sales processes dialed in, like learning different marketing tactics. And here's a funny thing: like if you don't learn the lesson, life lessons repeat, right? Until you learn it. And one of the other things that I learned later on when we were scaling our own businesses is like, hey, look, Facebook ads is really great until Facebook ads turns off. And it was the same thing. Now I was just dependent solely on like one ad platform to grow my business. And I had to then learn, okay, well, this is not actually very smart. How do we have multiple of that? So, and that's, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can't be, as you said, you can't be dependent on one platform.
One of anything is bad, right?
Exactly.
Except your wife. Just have one of those.
You might get in trouble if you had two of them. So
just have one.
In our culture anyway.
Yeah, just one of everything.
Now, you must have a greater vision for like Why do you keep going back to the well and rebuilding? By the sounds of it, you've been relatively successful in your journey. Yes, you have hurdles and failures, but why do you keep going back to it and rebuilding and reinventing and progressing?
Yeah, I think the alternative is just not so great. Like I think you get to a certain point in your entrepreneurial journey where you're just not employable anymore. And I think as hard as it is, if you don't stop and you just keep going, you'll get where you want to go. And I think this is where like knowing what you want to achieve is really important. And we all have our hard days and things suck sometimes, right? And you're just like, why am I doing this? And why am I building the business that I hate? Like I think we've all been there. Like wake up in the morning, do I have to do today? Right? Like whatever the problem is, maybe it's a staffing problem or a client problem or whatever problem, right? I think we all go through that cycle, or you lose a couple of big clients and payroll's due and you're like, oh, what do we do here? Like I think as an entrepreneur, we've all had those sorts of dramas in our journey. And I think that the main thing is if you know where you're going, it makes a big difference. And most entrepreneurs are competitive. And this might sound really sad, but find someone you can compete with. Go join a mastermind and be like, surely I'm smarter than these people, and figure it out. Like sometimes it's just the game of it, like the competitive side of it. But I think at the end of it, well, if you know what the end is, it helps. Like for example, the reason I do the agency side of life is I'd really love to buy a whole bunch of service-based businesses, not yet, but in maybe 5 years, and have the seller section of the agency and just keep a section, and then be able to just go through and buy up businesses en masse and just grow them out. I mean, that's something I really want to do. But that's not for now. Like the agency still needs a bit of growth. I'm not quite, haven't removed myself completely from the business yet. So that's my first goal. And then I can look at the next goal, right? So I think it just depends on where you're at in your journey and what you want to achieve. So
it's definitely having that direction or that outcome that you want. And it's okay that outcome changes, but you need to have an outcome that you're working towards and then gamify it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for gamification where either you're competing against yourself or competing against others.
Yeah. Do both. It's so fun.
Yeah, like doing it by yourself is no fun. Like you don't necessarily have to have a business partner, but you need to have people.
Yeah. I think that support you in your journey. The gamification's a good way to do it, but I mean, it's not even about like, sometimes you can win and you get there and it's like not fulfilling, right? So I think it's when you realize it's actually the game of the thing, not the outcome, it's a way better way to play.
So for people watching the video, over my shoulder, there's a phrase that says, happiness isn't the destination, it's a whole friggin' ride. So it's not when you get to the top of the mountain, it's the journey to get to the top of the mountain. Now, YouTube, that's your current space. You're speaking internationally about YouTube and ads and videos. So I want to dig into that and understand, maybe we've got agencies that are listening to this that might be dabbling in YouTube, might not be. What can they learn from you?
Yeah, look, I think the problem with YouTube ads has always been it's a complicated platform to learn and the lead costs are usually a bit more expensive. So let's just get that out of the way, like straight up. So if I'm an agency and I'm already running Facebook ads, for example, and I've got a few clients and I know that I could probably sell them Google ads, but search is so expensive and I'm looking for like, how do I break into the YouTube market? I'm guessing that's going to be a lot of agency owners out there. And that if that is you, there literally has never been a better time to make the transition to try YouTube ads as there has in 2025. And the reason for that is they're getting rid of all video action or conversion campaigns, if you will. So any of the like conversion-based video campaigns that we would run on YouTube, they're all going away come beginning of May, I think end of April. So literally like right now. And they're all changing to demand gen campaigns. So they're the campaign type that you really want to learn. Those pre-roll ads, which are the ads that pop up with 5 seconds to skip. And you can now use image-based ads in the demand gen platform. So, and what's really cool is they've just reintroduced like lookalike audiences as well, but only in demand gen campaigns. So if you're an agency and you're like, basically I'll just take a step back, but they're basically Facebook ads for YouTube. They're set up exactly the same way. So if you want to get into YouTube ads right now, there's never been a better time. You can literally take your winning ad and video creative from Facebook and literally put it into Google Ads and run demand gen campaigns, target all the YouTube channels and URLs and things that you want. The most profitable, we've spent well over 7 figures on YouTube advertising. We actually sit down every year and go over like what are the most profitable targeting, like in terms of campaign structures that we build out. And the most profitable at the moment are lookalike audiences of anyone who's converted at about 5%, or stealing your competitor's traffic, which is getting your competitor's URLs or landing pages and putting them into your campaigns. If you just did that, if you just did those two things, lookalike of what you've already got, plus or what's already converting, plus, your competitor's URLs, you'll crush it. So that would be where I would start in YouTube ads and grow from there.
If it's being simplified, what does that mean for you as an agency?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, like I get asked this question all the time, like, what is our agency's going to be dead? AI is going to come along and they're going to run all the campaigns and this and that and whatever, right? And that could be true, 100%, right? But I think at the end of the day, people want to do business with people. And a lot of people just want to know the result of the thing. Like I can cook a hamburger at home, but most people still go to McDonald's or Hungry Jack's, right? Why? Because someone else makes it, they hand it to you and there's a person there that does that. Can all those people at Hungry Jack's and McDonald's be replaced by AI and robots? Probably. But at the end of the day, people just want that thing done. They want to talk to a person about it. So I think as agency owners, like the AI and getting other people to do it and the simple facts of it all is, is there. And let's be real, like any information that you want to find right now is on YouTube or Google or AI or whatever. The difference is who's actually going to go and do it and put it together and connect with the other person to make that all happen, deliver the result.
Yeah, the issues are still the same. It's still about doing it.
Yeah.
And implementing. How are you guys implementing AI in your business? How is it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's changing massively.
It's just such a big space. And I'm not an AI expert. I'm not going to profess to be. But obviously things like copywriting, we're right into it. That side of things, we used to have 3 or 4 or 3 full-time and 1 part-time copywriters on team. We now have 1.5. So 1 full-time and a half, and AI does all the other heavy lifting. But to do that, we spent, like, just in how to write YouTube ads, we probably spent 4 or 5 months of someone just full-time playing around with prompts and the best way to do it, to give it the right commands. We ended up with, I think it was like 20 pages of prompts just to get, and now you can do it with GPTs and all other sorts of things. And where it's going is just so incredible. So I think you got to have someone on your team who's like fully across it, or get fully across it yourself, and then find ways to create and procedures. And more importantly, we use it for copywriting scripts and landing page. But you have to give it good instructions. If you give it terrible instructions like, hey, write me a YouTube ad, or hey, do me a landing page, it will suck. Okay.
That's probably the biggest thing. Like, people make that mistake. It's rubbish in, rubbish out. So the way I talk to people is, you've got to write a brief as if you're writing it for a human for their, and they're doing it for the first time. You can't, there's no context. They need to have context and understand what it is that you're writing. They're not mind readers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the analogy I like to use there is it's like dealing with a staff member. If you say to them, go clean the staff room, they might put a few things away and it looks tidy, right? But if I give them like a 20-point checklist of like dusting the windowsill and mopping the floor and restacking the fridge with the drinks, like, the chances are I'm going to get a way better result. So
that's exactly it. Yeah. More detail, more thinking, you're going to get a better result. And you can ask AI to give you that list to help create that prompt as well. You don't have to come up with that prompt. So you can say, help me create this prompt, please.
Yeah. What's the best way to ask this? Yeah. There's so many cool things that are going on with AI. I think it's going to be probably the biggest thing that's happened this century in terms of technology. So
yeah, cool. Yeah. And we've got to turn into AI jockeys, or know how to drive AI as well. So there's already a new role that's starting to come about, like an AI artist. So graphic designers or creative people aren't typically technically minded, but the ones that are turning into AI artists, where they can almost drive AI to create the images.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's so many use cases for it. It's incredible.
Totally. Now, I'm going to jump off on a tangent. This is an interesting topic. We were talking offline before about a gold mine. And I'm like, you mentioned that you're setting up you're working on a gold mine. And I'm like, hang on, Aren't I talking to Ben from Titan Marketer, who runs a YouTube agency that does online businesses? And I double check my notes and I'm like, yeah, that's him. And then you're like, setting up a gold mine. How did this come about? And shiny object syndrome.
Yes, you have to be very careful of shiny object syndrome. I have to just put that out there. And most business owners with ADHD or all the different Ds are going to find the bright shiny object syndrome very, very attractive. So for me with this one, this was more happened during COVID. So during COVID, I wasn't allowed to fly and speak. And I actually lost a 7-figure business in the process that was around coaching, consulting and things like that, which really sucks. So I was kind of, we still had like the Titan was formed and we were still making some money, but I was like, I couldn't leave Western Australia at the time. The lockdowns are pretty serious. And I was like, this sucks. My cousin and friend of mine, he was like, hey, do you want to come out and do some gold prospecting, dig some gold up out of the ground? And I was like, I could probably do that in a weekend. And if you like fishing, it's kind of like fishing for gold. And I love fishing. So, it's kind of my 2 favorite things in one. And while we're out there, we were chatting with a tenement lawyer or like a lawyer who literally specializes in getting gold projects. And I was like, well, how do we do that? And over the past 2 or 3 years, we started to acquire a whole bunch of tenements and gold projects, which is pretty cool. And obviously with the gold price going the way that it is, it's probably one of the better investments I've made recently. And so that was really fun. But then we actually had some projects that were worth exploring and actually turning them into mine sites. And we had one, and we actually did 2 different deals with different mining companies or smaller mining companies. And they didn't quite take off the way that I wanted. And I was like, well, why don't we just do it ourselves once we sort of knew a bit about the space? And that's what we decided to do. So we literally, it's the craziest thing. We went to China last year. We decided to build our own gold plant. We want to do about 20 tons an hour. It's pretty crazy. I think we've got like 11 40-foot sea containers of equipment coming over. We've just bought like excavators and trucks and loaders and all the stuff. And we're going to self-fund our own gold mine and see what happens. So so that's all happening. And I think next month we're going to start a YouTube channel like how to start a gold mine when you've never done it before. And we're just going to see if we can figure it out. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be one of the craziest things I've heard in this podcast. How many people do you have to employ?
That's another thing. So we've had to hire like a mine manager, and probably the way we've designed the plant is we only want to have like 2 or 3 people running the whole plant. Now, if you were to do it traditionally, you'd probably have like 5 or 6 or something like that. But, so we're not a massive mine by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, everything's at scale. I think the actual, like at 20 ton an hour, that's a lot of dirt. But for example, the fuel tank that we've just got is 77,000 litres. It costs 150,000 to fill up, right? So it is a bigger mine, but not like crazy. Like the numbers on big mine sites will blow your mind, right? So we don't have haul packs and that sort of thing. But, we've got a couple of trucks and an excavator and a loader and, probably more than enough to kick it off and get it going.
Yeah. You definitely want to be getting an ROI pretty quickly from it, or getting gold pretty soon.
Yeah, we're hoping so. Obviously, you never know, and that's the risk you take. But we've got what they call a proven resource there, where they drill down and they know how much gold's there at different spots and that sort of thing. And then we've taken the ore away and run it through a different plant just to make sure what's going on with the grade and all of that. We did all of that stuff before we obviously went crazy and bought a whole bunch of equipment. So watch this space. It could be interesting. But I mean, the other thing with that is we'll go there for the setup and things, but I want that to sort of run itself. My day today, I want to spend a lot in the marketing space and things like that. But yeah, if I had to go there and play around and pour gold bars, it's probably not going to be the end of the universe, right? So
yeah, you're not going to complain about that. That's going to be a bit of fun. So
yeah.
For Titan, what do the next couple of years look like for you? You said you're wanting to build yourself out of the business or remove yourself from the day-to-day.
Yeah, so we've got just over 15, 16 staff at the moment, so which is kind of cool inside of Titan. We probably need another...
Onshore, offshore?
A combination. So, yeah. But I probably want to get to, I just need a couple more key hires, I think, that we're looking for. So we need another couple of account managers and a few more salespeople, as you do. And I'll probably see how I go. But I think I'm almost at the point, like the day to day, I'm still quite involved in. But I want to get it to a point where it can run. Like I can do things like, it was my 20th wedding anniversary. So we went on a cruise for 2 weeks and I came back and the business was actually had more clients than when I left, and, everything was running smooth. Just to get to that point, like if you're an agency owner, you'll probably know that takes a little while, because the beginning, man, you're in the weeds and you're dealing with everything. So I'm at the point now where I can leave for extended periods of time. Like I just went to America and spoke at Social Media Marketing World. I came home and it was like I never left. But obviously when I got back into it, I was like, oh, let's look at this and that and whatever. I think, I want to sort of grow that and give the people in the team a bit more of a chance to step up. But yeah, if I left for 3 months, would that be the case? That's probably the next test. But I can definitely do a couple of weeks, which is what I really want, where I want to be with the business at the moment. So
yeah, nice. Now, a couple of questions. I often say that 15 to 23 headcount is a pretty difficult phase, because that's when you need an operations manager or a GM type person.
Yeah.
Most businesses can't quite afford that yet. Obviously, it depends on the way you're set up, but that ends up being a dangerous period at 15 to 23 headcount.
So we got an operations manager at about 7.
Okay.
7 or 8, and we fluctuated. Like last year we had 20. I ended up getting a few people, and we've kept a few people. Now we're in the hiring phase again, and as it cycles through, I probably don't want a team much bigger than 25, I think, at this point. And because and I don't want like heaps of clients. Like if we can have a few really good clients, it's much easier to deliver on that, right? So I mean, I say that, and you might talk to me in 2 years, I got 50 staff or something, who knows? But yeah, at the moment, like we do have a dedicated ops manager, and we've got some people that work on a group of clients at a time. And I think getting your structures in place is actually the most important thing to be able to do that. But yeah, I actually don't know how people run an agency without an ops manager. That would just be absolutely horrible.
Yeah, like being the visionary and not having that structure, having someone, if we're talking EOS, like the integrated type person, you often struggle.
Yeah. I'm not the detail human. And I think I think a lot of entrepreneurs are very much the big vision, the big picture. This is where we're going. Let's go sort of people. But to ask them to deal with the 1,000 emails that come in and what's going on the Monday board, where all the tasks are, show me the reports on this. Like, yeah, that's not their skill set. So,
yeah. Now, if we're to give other business owners one piece of advice, what's that one big bit of advice that you would?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to continue on from what we were just talking about, actually. Yeah. But I think know what your strengths are and hire for your weaknesses. So that's worked well for me. Is find the people that can do things better than you can in the areas that you're not so great. So
this bit's important. Hire people that can do things better than you. Often business owners think they're the best at everything. So you may be the best all-rounder, but subject matter expertise is another.
Yeah, I think the other thing that really helped me out a bit is like I left school early, right? So I never actually finished school. So I know that there's people way smarter and better than me. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if they can just get to that point of like, hey, I'm actually not the smartest human in the room. Let's go find someone who is, and you'll do well. So
totally. On that note, mate, if people want to contact you, talk to someone smarter, maybe, how do people connect with you or find you?
Yeah, so look, just check out Titan Marketer with an ER at the end, so titanmarketer.com. We have cool free resources and a whole bunch of stuff there you can go check out. If you just type in Ben Jones, I am a bit difficult to find, so you might want to type in Ben Jones and the word Titan, and all my social handles and everything will come up. LinkedIn's always great if you want to connect with me on somewhere to have a chat or whatever. That's a great spot. But yeah, hopefully we've been able to help you in some way on the podcast today.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, mate.
Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning into The Growth Equation. If you've enjoyed the show, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It helps us big time. Catch you next time. And if you want more, head over to evolvetogrow.com.au for show notes and exclusive content.